This is the brand new Velotric Breeze 1 electric bike, weighing in at just 48 pounds, and they say we can do up to 70 miles of range. It's got sensor swap technology, which means we can swap from torque sensor to cadence sensor. It's pretty cool. It's available in 5 different colors and 2 different frame sizes, and you can see the current listed price in the link below this video in the description box. I should also have a coupon code down there in the description box if you do decide to buy this bike, but don't buy the Breeze 1 just yet. We gotta review it first. On the inside of the box, it's got a QR code to show you how to build this thing. It's honestly pretty easy. Just grab yourself Starbucks, knock this thing out in a few minutes. And we have our little helper here to help. And this one is rolling on 2.2 inch wide by 27.5 inch tall wheels. Tires are Kenda, and they have a tread pattern conducive for some street riding. And we are rolling on disc brakes. Tektro name brand with 180 millimeter rotors. Excellent, but even better than that is we have a through axle. It is the most secure and safe kind of axle you can have on an e-bike. The bike we have here today is Ocean Mist, but they do have other color options available in the link below. Also, this is the large frame, but they do have a smaller size frame for shorter people. Similar to the rest of the Velotric bikes, it works with Apple Find My, so you can track this thing down with your iPhone. And a pretty safe one at that, with that through axle on the front, as well as the UL certified battery. Let's pop that thing off there and see what we're working with here. So it's a 48 volt system, which is pretty typical. We have 627 watt hours of energy, 13.4 amp hours on this thing. And another reminder of the UL certification. So to put that into context, let's weigh this thing. It doesn't even want to register on the scale, it's pretty light. 7.8 pounds. So compared to a bike like that one, the Nomad 2, this one is gonna ride more like a bicycle than a motorcycle. It's gonna be a lot less like cumbersome to ride, lighter battery, lighter electronics, less weight on the suspension. So basically when you actually pedal this thing, it's gonna propel it forward more than like a heavier bike. I mean, this one's 48 pounds. I think that one's like 70, which isn't bad, but some of these bikes I review are like 90 or 100 pounds. And once they start getting that heavy, I mean, pedaling them doesn't do much.
Oh my God, that is gorgeous. I love that color. That's the one my mom is gonna want. I think the lava will be too big for her.
I think that one's gonna be too big for your mom too. What's your mom, 5'5"?
5'4".
5'4"? Yeah, this is gonna be the way to roll.
That's gorgeous, she'll love that color.
Also on the Breeze, we have some lights on the back. So we'll fire those up here shortly, and let's check out the gears. So we get 8 gears on the rear cassette. And on the back wheel here, we get our 750 watt Velotric branded geared hub motor. And for shifting the gears, we get a basic Shimano Altus derailleur. And I should point out on the rear, there are eyelets for mounting a rear rack. Up on top too, as well as for rear fenders. The chainring on front is a 48 tooth narrow wide chainring. And the point of that narrow wide chainring is to keep the chain on here. If you look at the chain, they basically alternate narrow, wide, and basically the teeth on that chainring alternate to match up with that, and it's a very effective way for keeping the chain on the chainring. A lot of e-bikes do not have that feature, and the chain will tend to fall off the front. So let's take a look at the seat. It is Velotric branded by Cell Royale, which is a quality brand. They have the Comfort Max TM. It is a wide seat. Shape of it looks comfy, kind of rounds over on the edges. It's got the quick release so you can easily adjust the height. It's got a long seat post for a lot of adjustability. And also up front, we have the adjustable stem so you can change the angle of that to raise the handlebars or lower them. Don't forget to register your 2-year warranty. You're gonna tip this thing over, bro. Yes, yes. Good job, sir. Thanks for your help. Don't ever use a drill. I'm talking to you. Don't ever use a drill. They give you all the tools you need to build your bike right in here. Looking like an Apple product. There they go. So we'll get this thing on the scale here in a minute, but I can tell you right away, it does feel like a light electric bicycle. And up front we can see it does have Tektro hydraulic brake calipers, but what I really wanted to show you guys was the through axle up here. And basically what that means is you see how this circle goes all the way around? It's not open on the bottom. This is the way to do it. Fantastic. It's really just the way e-bikes should be built. You just throw that in there, and axle goes through. Screws on here and into the threads on the other side. And that'll make sure your wheel stays aligned and the dropouts, no matter how hard you brake or no matter what you do, your front wheel is never gonna fall off those things. Same exact 180 millimeter Tektro brakes around back. Comes with a set of plastic pedals that are a little bit easier if you ever hit them on your shin compared to like some steel teeth pedals. And we'll get that display on there and the headlight. And we'll get that battery charged up with the Velotric charger. The charger they give us is a 3 amp output, charger, 13.4 amp hour battery pack divided by 3 amp charge rate. That'd be about 4.5 hours to charge that battery from completely empty to completely full. But they don't ship it completely dead, so let's drop it on there and fire it up. But first, let's weigh it. I'm just gonna pick the bike up and subtract my weight of 192, and I have the battery in here. I'm just gonna pick the whole thing up. I usually take the battery out, but this one's really not too heavy at all. Weighing in at 242.2 minus 192, so 50.2 pounds according to my scale. And that is for the large frame. And speaking of large, since I'm large, I'm gonna raise these handlebars up. I'm gonna set them to about the 40-degree angle there to get them high. I'd imagine this whole thing would be a little bit less weight if you got the smaller frame size option. So we're gonna fire this thing up in just a moment. But first, I wanna give you an idea of the size of this bike. On the large frame, this is rated for riders of 5'6" up to 6'4". I am 6'5", but the regular height one is for riders 4'11" up to 5'8". So the seat on maximum height, this thing has a very low step-through frame, making this bike very easy to get on and off, very approachable. It doesn't have that high bar up here that you gotta like step over. So hopping aboard this bike, I'll just show you what I look like with the seat on maximum height. Handlebars are relaxed, they come back towards the rider, so nice upright riding position. And here's what my pedal stroke looks like with an inseam of 34, seat on maximum height. And dropping the seat down all the way to minimum height, that actually drops down quite a bit. I don't know if this helps, but here's what I look like on the large frame with the seat all the way on the minimum. So in general, I'd have to say, it's like a light, approachable electric bike. So we'll get this thing fired up in just a moment. Just want to show you the handlebars real quick. They sweep back towards the rider. It's got rubber ergonomic grips, 8 speeds on the Shimano shifter, shift down on this side, shift up on this side. It's got Tektro hydraulic brake levers and a 400 lumen light on front. Throttle on the left. All the controls on the left side here. You can switch between Eco, Trail, and Boost. Then you get 5 levels of pedal assist for each one of those. That's how you operate the turn signals, and you turn it on with this button back here. So let's power it up and see what it's looking like. If it doesn't turn on right away, don't forget to plug it in to wake up the battery. So let's plug that thing in, and it should show us how long it'll take to charge. There we go. It says that's about half charged, a little over half charged, so about 3 hours remaining till it's full. Just like any other battery, the first half of the battery will always charge faster than the second half. You can think about charging a battery as like a parking lot. When the parking lot's empty, AKA the battery is dead, the first few cars that come in, the first 20 cars that come in, easy to find a spot. Then let's say the parking lot is 70% full, more cars are coming in, it takes longer to find a spot. That's how batteries work. So let's just power it up. I'll show you what it looks like. So we get the Velotric yellow welcome screen. It is a color display showing 64% up there. We can switch between Boost, Eco, and Trail mode. Holding the plus button will turn on the lights. I'll show you what those look like in a moment. You get 5 levels of pedal assist, and then you can tab through these options down here. It'll actually show you how many calories you burned on your ride, so that's awesome. And my personal favorite is it actually shows you the motor temperature and the controller temperature. And then of course you can hold down the M button and get into the advanced settings. So there is an app that Velotric has. I've showed this in my other videos, but the cool part about this, you can change the speed limit as well as sensor swap. So sensor swap, this is not a super common feature. It allows you to switch between torque sensor and cadence sensor, as we've seen on other Velotric bikes. The torque sensor, you'll end up getting better range out of your battery. Also, the torque sensor provides a more intuitive riding experience where the bike will give you power based on how hard you're pressing on the pedals. But if you want it to be just a speed-based system, like whether you're pedaling or not, switch over to cadence sensor. It's kind of more like the dumb sensor, you could say. It can definitely make your ride a lot easier. Nothing will make your ride as easy as using this throttle over here though. So out of the box setting speed limit is 20 for pedal as well as throttle, but you can increase that up to 28 for both throttle and pedal. So to get the best range, you're gonna wanna keep your speed down. There is an automatic light, which is on right now. I'm gonna turn that off. So there are like throttle limited modes as well. You get cruise control and you can connect it to the app. Like you just scan this QR code basically and download the app. It's pretty great. You don't need to use the app, which I love that you don't need to use the app. You do everything you need to do right in here. It's got Apple Find My, so you just link that up with your iPhone and it'll track your bike. And you can calibrate the sensors for like the pedal assist if you need to. I doubt we need to. Screen brightness is on auto. I'm just gonna turn it to max, honestly. So I'll mash on the throttle. It shows you your power output right here. So watch, it'll climb just a bit there. It doesn't take much power when there's nobody riding the bike. But that wheel will spin right on up with the throttle. And we do get lights on the rear as well as brake lights. So pretty clean lights installed back here. When I grab the brake lever, they light up a little brighter. Holding the plus button will turn the lights off. And then we get turn signals. I'll flip on the right one. It's got a little sound. Flip on the left one. And grabbing the brake lever, lights them up. Turn them back on with the plus button. So pretty clean light setup on the rear. So I like that it has that noise as well as the indicator up here. So you're never gonna leave your signal on and not know unless maybe you got your earbuds in or something. So up front, here's what the headlight is looking like. It is attached to the actual handlebars, so it'll go whichever way you point the handlebars. And shining off this way, we can see there is a doggy at the door, and it is a pretty bright light, 400 lumens. So I think it's about time we take this thing out. All right, dudes, let's check out the Velotric Breeze 1 and see how this performs. So let's fire this thing up. And of course, I'll check our official distance on my independent GPS. See what kind of range we do on today's ride. So for starters here, let's take a look at that light. And it's a pretty bright light, 400 lumen. We got the lights on the rear, brake lights as well. And here's what that headlight's looking like in the dark tunnel here. It's a pretty bright headlight. So let's go and see what kind of torque we're working with on the Breeze 1. I have this thing on boost mode, pedal assist 5. We're gonna do throttle only to see how it can do on its own. So it only weighs ballpark 50 pounds, and let's just see how much power it can do on its own. Not pedaling at all. It can bring us up the 20% grade to right about, yeah, there we go. And of course, that was no pedaling at all. So let's go ahead and just put in a little bit of effort here. And I mean, this bike is light, 50 pounds roughly. So pedaling actually makes a difference, and we can climb right on up, 20% grade, a little bit of pedaling there. So first thing I am noticing on this bike is the comfort of it, the Comfort Max technology, they call it. It does have like a nice seat, upright riding position, swept back handlebars on this one, and the low, what is it, 380 millimeter step through frame down there. So it's just really approachable, really easy to get on and off this bike, and you know, fairly lightweight, nimble bike. Throttle will get us going off the line. But before we start going too crazy on that throttle, let's try some of the pedal assist settings here. So if you want to get the most range out of this bike, maximum range, you want to put it down to eco mode, throw it down onto, keep it on the torque sensor, and you know, lower pedal assist, like pedal assist 1 or something like that. The torque sensor will give you power in proportion to how hard you press on the pedals, as opposed to the cadence sensor. The cadence sensor, when we do the sensor swap thing, it'll just give us power in proportion to whatever pedal assist mode we have it on. It doesn't measure how hard you're pressing. So torque sensor gives you like a more intuitive, natural riding position. And right here is like a power meter. So when I start pressing on the pedals, we can see it gives a little bit there, the green line coming up. So we do have 8 gears on the cassette, nice range of gearing here. We're on 3, and you know, we probably could get about 70 miles on this thing if we just cruised along on eco mode, torque sensor, pedal assist 1, going about 10 miles an hour on flat ground. But everybody knows that ain't the way I normally ride, so let's see what kind of range we end up with here. So I do want to mention this bike does have cruise control, and once you activate that in the menus, you got to turn it to the on setting. The stock setting is off. So after cruise is set to on, all you got to do is hold this button down here for about 2 seconds, and it should activate cruise control. And it is indeed on. It shows that little speedometer thing there, and it's just holding us at 10 miles an hour. So you could just cruise, you know, no pedaling, no hands. It feels stable at 10. You can see it's giving, you know, just a small amount of power there, whatever is showing on that green bar. Pretty cool little feature. Ooh, no suspension on this thing, which does help keep it lightweight. And now let's just dial that torque sensor from 1 up to 5, why not, on eco mode. So it'll give you access to more power more easily. You basically just have to press less hard on the pedals as you dial things up. It's very intuitive, natural riding feel on this bike. You know, this thing's riding like an actual bicycle due to its lightweight and the torque sensor. Some of these bikes I've been having on the channel lately are really kind of more of like a light motorcycle, whereas this is, you know, truly an electric bicycle. And one thing I am noticing about the motor is it's very quiet. I can't really hear it making any noise at all. Some of these geared hub motors will be a little bit noisy. This one is almost silent. And I actually missed this in my Nomad 2 review, but you see how it says torque sensor there? You can switch it over to cadence sensor on the fly by holding this M button. So if I hold this while rolling, hold the M button, For about 2 seconds, it'll switch to cadence sensor. So you don't have to get into the menus and change it. You could do that in the app or the menus, or just hold down that M button while rolling along. And now that it's on cadence sensor eco mode 5, let's just start rotating our legs here and see what it does for power. So it gives us, it's not giving us power in proportion to how hard we press on the pedals anymore. Now it's just giving us, you see that little purple bar going up there? I'm not even applying any tension to the chain, and we're going about 20, which is the max speed, until we unlock it to 28 in a minute. Now, no suspension on this electric bike, so you're probably not going to want to be doing too much off-roading on this, although you could drop the tire pressure down. I have them on 45, which would be better for fuel efficiency, but the range is 30 to 50 psi. The lower the psi, the more cushion you'll get, but it'll affect your range negatively the more you drop that psi. We'll make the ride softer though on lower psi. So before we get out here, let's get into the menus here. And as mentioned, there's a sensor swap thing, but we're gonna go into speed limits, and we'll just put it to the max of 28. Now the rules and laws and regulations, you know, for this sort of stuff are dependent on where you live. I'm just gonna show you what this thing could do though. And I'm gonna swap it back over to torque sensor for today, so we'll get better range and it feels like a more natural ride. And since we're getting on a higher speed road, I'm gonna switch it from eco to trail. The PCH will be our trail for now. And now on torque sensor 5 trail mode, it gives us access to that power pretty darn easily. Whoa, definitely feeling the bumps though. But now, even on trail mode, we can go over 20 miles an hour. And also we do have turn signals with a beeping noise. So you can actually toggle that beeping noise on and off in the menus. I have it on so I don't accidentally leave a blinker on. Can we make it? Can we make it? LA style, baby. So see how it's not gonna let me accidentally leave that on. I like that feature. So now on boost mode, level 5, let's go ahead and do a 0 to 20 acceleration run on this without pedaling, full throttle only. I weigh 200 pounds, see what kind of performance we get. Ready, go. Ten, 15, 20. So, you know, it gets you up to speed without pedaling. It's a nice, gentle acceleration. It's not, you know, like an extremely thrilling launch, but, you know, it'll get you out for a nice cruise without having to work at all. And with that gentle power delivery, we're gonna get better fuel efficiency out of the lithium ion as well. All right, dudes, let's do a top speed run on this thing. So I have it on boost mode, torque sensor 5. You can easily get up to 20. Now I'm just gonna use throttle and see where it'll take us to. 23, 24, and I can keep up with pedaling on gear number 8. This is comfortable cadence to pedal at. Going 28 according to the onboard, 28 on my GPS. It's still giving us just enough power to kind of 29 miles an hour. Yeah, 30 miles an hour. So it'll take us a little bit over 28 actually. 31 I saw briefly there, not pedaling at all. But if I just start pedaling here, actually I'm gonna hold that M button down, switch it to cadence sensor. All right, we're on cadence sensor. Now if I just start pedaling, it'll give me full power, and I can keep up with pedaling and get maximum power here. This will drain your battery if you do this for too long, but I can keep up pedaling and we can go pretty fast on this thing. Now, if you do that for too long, you'll drain your battery. We're at 87% battery right now. We're gonna see where we end up here after we complete this ride today. I think I'm kind of hooked on this cruise control, man. I have it on cruise at 15. I can just chill. So the medium tires on this, they're enough to kind of get you going through, you know, a little bit of sand, but you know, not enough to actually ride out on the loose sand. No suspension on this thing. So definitely not really an off-roading kind of bike. But where these tires shine is riding on flat, smooth pavement. You're gonna get good efficiency out of them. They're quiet, they got good tread on it if you need to ride in rain or something. And this bike is rated IPX6 rating, so pretty waterproof electric bike. Actually, what the heck, let's try it. Whoa. Seat on this bike is comfy. Could put a suspension seat post on there if you want a little suspension out of the box. No suspension on this thing to help keep the weight down and help keeping your pedal efficiency up. Let's see if we can get this ball back over here. Whoa, I tried. So about 6 miles and 30 minutes into our ride, sitting at 81%. We've been pretty well behaved. Yeah, this cruise control is where it's at, man. I'm just chilling today. That dude, however, is not chilling at all. All All right, let's run it up the California incline, 85-foot climb, 12% grade, long gradual climb, see how it does. And rolling into the spiral section here, we have it on boost mode, torque sensor level 3. I'm just pedaling a little bit, but I'll do throttle now and see how it does. So I can climb this little spiral section on its own. We're gaining 7 miles an hour here, 7.5. So you can do this gradual incline on its own. And from the base of the California incline here at the back wheel against the wall, full throttle, ready to go. I'll put it on 5, boost mode 5, and we'll just do throttle only, see how it does on its own. Obviously I could pedal it, you know, get a little better efficiency, a little more speed, but we're doing 12 miles an hour on its own, 14 miles an hour. A lot of times I see cyclists just give up riding this thing when they don't have an e-bike and they're just riding a normal pedal bike. 15 miles an hour. And I like that it gives you the motor and controller temperature on there. So it's on 131 Fahrenheit and 80 Fahrenheit, hitting 16 miles an hour. Still not pedaling at all, holding us at about 16 miles an hour, climbing 85 feet, 12% grade, all the way to the top on its own. Anytime you're on an electric bike that can achieve speeds of 28 or so, you're gonna wanna have some good brakes on it. And, you know, this one's got name brand Tektro hydraulic brakes, so, you know, they work pretty darn good. Especially since this thing only weighs like 50 pounds, so these brakes are pretty solid, man, pretty solid. So let me show you what it looks like to stop from about 20 miles an hour. Give them a full pull and stop. Just remember, back brake is on the right, front brake is on the left. This thing comes to stop very nicely, very smooth, controlled brakes. Just remember not to pull that front one too hard, because yeah, they're pretty good. Don't want to lock up that front tire. So of course you also have your Velotric app. You can link it right up, getting in the menus and scanning the QR code. Add new bike, Breeze 1. Scan the QR code, comes right up. Breeze, that was a breeze. And it does show that we're at 68% after 10.7 miles. And there's all kinds of settings and stuff inside the app. You don't need to use the app, but you can use the app. Everything on the app you can do on here. The thing I wanted to show you though is the Apple Find My. So you can connect this thing up to the Apple Find My. And just like I showed you in the Nomad 1, it will show exactly where the bike is. So it shows that we are right here by the California incline, has us on the map there. Also has my Nomad 2 on here, right down the street, last seen when I rode it over here. So you can do like the play sound thing. Hear it beep. So it's got an air tag in there. All right, dudes, we're about to head on home, take the final range on this thing. We are sitting at 65% after about 12.5 miles. We'll see where we end up on the final range, and I'll share my final thoughts along the way. So if you do decide this is the e-bike for you, if you click on that link down below the video, it'll get you the best price on this thing. I have a little coupon code down there, and if you click on that link before you buy it, it would help support my reviews, and I greatly appreciate your support. So final thoughts on this thing, man. You know, they have the Comfort Max technology on this, is what they call it. It's just a very approachable, you know, beginner-friendly electric bike. It's got the upright riding position. It's got the wide seat that's comfy. These thick, meaty rubber grips with the ergonomic shape on them is nice, and the really low step-through frame makes it just so approachable to get on and off. And it only weighs like right around 50 pounds, which is great for an electric bike, especially one that can go 30 miles an hour on throttle only. So the power on it, you know, it's not like exceptionally exhilarating, but it's like a safe level of power. This is a good, like, you know, beginner friendly bike that'll help you get out on some spring, summer, fall adventures as the weather gets nicer here, or wherever you live, obviously. You know, if you're gonna be doing street riding, I would say this would be a good option for you with that torque sensor. You're trying to get a little bit of exercise, you know, you're not trying to get like an electric motorcycle where you're relying only on throttle. You do have the throttle and the cruise control and stuff, but with the torque sensor on this bike and the good gearing, you can get out, get a little exercise, and make your, you know, get some longer rides in with a little less effort, and obviously hit some higher speeds than you could ever do on a non-motorized e-bike. And then since it's Velotric, you know, they have the UL certified battery, which is awesome. Not all e-bikes have that. In fact, very few e-bikes have that. So it's like a fire and electrical safety thing, and the IPX6 rating on it. So you can ride this thing out in the rain. So it rides nice, man. That's pretty much the bottom line. If you do want to grab one, use that link below. Let's head on home, see where the final range is. All right, just rolling up into the neighborhood here, showing an hour and 32-minute ride time, 11.5 miles per hour average speed, and coming up on 18 miles here in just about a block. And we are showing 54% remaining on the battery. And that was me, you know, pedaling a little bit, not pedaling some, high speed runs, a little mixed riding. So if you want to get the maximum range, you got to remember, throw this thing on eco mode, put that pedal assist down, don't be, you know, using that throttle too much. But that's where I'm ending up here as a 200-pound rider that likes to have some fun while riding. So pretty solid, well-rounded, commuter style electric bike, beginner friendly. If you do want to grab one, use that link below the video, buy through that link. It would help support my channel and give you the best price with my coupon code down there. However, if this is not the kind of electric bike you're looking for, check out this video right here, bro. YouTube's recommending it, and they know what you want to see.